I never thought a birthday cake could cause so much drama. But here I am, sitting in my kitchen at 6 a.m., staring at the three-tiered masterpiece I spent all night creating. My daughter Emily turns 8 today, and this cake represents everything she loves: dinosaurs, space, and science. Each tier tells a story. The bottom shows dinosaurs roaming prehistoric Earth, the middle depicts the evolution of life, and the top showcases the cosmos with hand-painted planets and stars. "Mommy, is it time yet?" Emily's excited voice carries from the hallway. She's been up since 5, too thrilled about her birthday party to sleep. My heart swells as she bounces into the kitchen, her curly hair wild from sleep, wearing her favorite NASA pajamas. "Almost, sweetie. We need to wait for the frosting to set completely." I pull her into a hug, breathing in the familiar scent of her strawberry shampoo. "Why don't you help me set up the science experimentations for your friends?" Emily's eyes light up. We've planned a mad scientist birthday party, complete with safe experiments for 8-year-olds. No typical princess themes or generic cartoon characters. My daughter wants to make slime, create volcanic eruptions, and learn about chemical reactions. "Do you think Grandma Patricia will like my party?" Emily asks, carefully arranging test tubes filled with colored water. The question makes my stomach clench. My mother-in-law, Patricia, has never approved of my unconventional parenting choices. "I'm sure she'll love seeing you happy," I answered diplomatically, remembering last year's disaster when Patricia brought a pink princess dress to the party, insisting Emily change out of her astronaut costume. The doorbell rings at exactly 10 a.m. Patricia's always punctual. I'll give her that. My husband Michael answers while I make final adjustments to the cake. I hear her before I see her. "Michael, darling, where's my precious granddaughter? I brought her the most adorable dress from that boutique I told you about." I close my eyes and count to 10. We specifically told everyone to wear clothes they don't mind getting messy. Emily runs to greet her grandmother, lab coat already on, safety goggles pushed up on her head. "Grandma, look, I'm a scientist today." Emily twirls, showing off the patches I sewed onto her coat: NASA, the periodic table, and her name embroidered in gold thread. Patricia's smile freezes. "Oh, how interesting. But would you rather wear this beautiful dress I brought? It's got ribbons and—" "Mom," Michael interrupts, "we discussed this. It's Emily's party, and she chose the theme." Patricia purses her lips but says nothing, following Emily into the kitchen. That's when she sees the cake. The color drains from her face as she takes in the detailed fondant dinosaurs, the carefully piped DNA strands, and the glittering galaxy-topped tier. What is this?" Her voice trembles. I feel a surge of pride, thinking she's impressed by my handiwork. I was wrong. "This is horrible," she shrieks, startling Emily, who drops her safety goggles. "This is not a proper birthday cake for a little girl. Where are the flowers, the butterflies, the pretty pink frosting?" "Mom." Michael steps forward, but Patricia is on a roll. "This party needs to be canceled right now." She pulls out her phone. "I still have time to call the bakery. They can deliver a proper cake in an hour. And I'm sure the boutique has some lovely decorations we can." Actually, I cut in, my voice steady as I pull out my phone. "Let me show you something." I open my photo gallery and select a video from last week. Emily's voice fills the kitchen. "And this is the cake I want, Mommy. Can you make the dinosaurs look real? And the planets too? I want to show everyone how amazing science is." The video continues, showing Emily sketching her dream cake design, her face glowing with excitement as she explains each element. "See, the DNA shows how everything's connected, and the stars show where we might go someday when I'm an astronaut." Patricia's face flushes. But, I'm not done. I swipe to another video, this one from Emily's science fair last month. She's presenting her project on solar energy, confidently explaining complex concepts to the judges. The blue ribbon pinned to her project board gleams under the fluorescent lights. "This is who your granddaughter is, Patricia. She's brilliant, curious, and passionate about science. She doesn't want to be a princess. She wants to be an astronaut or a paleontologist, or maybe both. And today, on her birthday, we're celebrating exactly who she is." Emily hugs my legs, and I feel her trembling slightly. I run my fingers through her curls, silently promising to always protect her right to be herself. "I love my cake, Mommy," she whispers. "It's perfect." Michael steps forward, placing a hand on his mother's shoulder. Mom, do you remember what you always told me growing up? Be yourself, no matter what anyone says. That's all Emily's doing. Patricia looks from the cake to Emily, then back to the cake. The fight seems to drain out of her. She sinks into a kitchen chair, dabbing at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. The doorbell rings again, the first party guests arriving. Emily bounces with excitement, lab coat swishing around her knees. Grandma, she says, approaching Patricia cautiously, would you like to help with the experiments? I can show you how to make elephant toothpaste. It's really cool. I hold my breath, watching Patricia's internal struggle play across her face. Finally, she manages a small smile. I suppose I could learn something new today. The party was in full swing. Our backyard transformed into a kid-sized laboratory. 10 excited 8-year-olds in lab coats crowded around different experiment stations, their laughter mixing with sounds of wonder as chemical reactions created colorful foam and harmless explosions. I kept one eye on Patricia as she hovered uncertainly near the volcanic eruption table. She changed into the spare lab coat I'd offered, though she insisted on keeping her pearl necklace on. Emily was showing her how to mix baking soda and vinegar to create the perfect eruption. See, Grandma, when you combine an acid and a base. Emily's confident explanation was interrupted by gasps and cheers as the mixture bubbled over dramatically. To my surprise, Patricia didn't flinch away from the mess. Instead, she leaned closer, genuine curiosity crossing her face. That's actually quite fascinating, she admitted, adjusting her safety goggles. What happens if we add more baking soda? Before Emily could answer, my sister-in-law Diane burst through the gate, fashionably late as always. She took one look at the science-themed party and her face twisted into a familiar sneer. Oh, Sarah, she said, air-kissing my cheek. Still encouraging these unusual interests, I see. Her eyes landed on Patricia and the lab coat. Mother, what are you wearing? Patricia straightened up, something shifting in her expression. I braced myself for her to side with Diane, to revert to her usual criticism of my parenting choices. But she surprised me. I'm conducting experiments with my granddaughter, she said firmly, though I caught a slight tremor in her voice. Did you know that combining certain household ingredients can create such remarkable reactions? Diane's perfectly plucked eyebrows shot up. Surely you're joking. This is hardly appropriate for a little girl's birthday. Where are the princess games? The makeup stations? The future scientist who might cure cancer or lead missions to Mars? I cut in, my patience finally snapping. Because that's what I see when I look at these kids. I see potential, curiosity, and joy in discovery. Emily appeared at my side, her lab coat now splattered with various colors from the experiments. Aunt Diane wanted to see something amazing. Without waiting for an answer, she grabbed her aunt's manicure hand and pulled her toward the color-changing solution station. Careful, Diane yelped. This blouse is designer. I'll let her show you, Patricia said, following them. I've learned more in the last hour than I have in years of adult dinner parties. I watched in astonishment as my mother-in-law positioned herself between Emily and Diane, subtly blocking her daughter's attempts to redirect the party toward more traditional activities. When Diane tried to suggest an impromptu princess makeover session, Patricia loudly announced it was time for cake. The cake reveal was met with exactly the reaction Emily had hoped for. The kids crowded around, pointing excitedly at different details: the realistic dinosaurs, the glowing planets, the intricate DNA strands. Even Diane's daughter Sophie, usually glued to her mother's side, pushed forward to get a better look. Mom, look. Sophie tugged at Diane's sleeve. The dinosaurs look so real. Can I take science classes like Emily? Diane's face flushed. But honey, you love your ballet lessons. I can do both, Sophie insisted. Emily does gymnastics and science. I caught Patricia watching this exchange, something like recognition flickering across her face. She touched Diane's arm gently. Remember when you wanted to take automotive classes in high school? She said softly, and I insisted you stick with home economics instead. Diane went very still. You said it wasn't ladylike to work on cars. I was wrong. Patricia's voice cracked slightly. I was so focused on what I thought you should be that I didn't see who you wanted to be. Just like. She glanced at me apologetically, just like I've been doing with Emily. The tension in the air dissolved as Emily started leading everyone in singing Happy Birthday. I watched her face glow in the candlelight, surrounded by friends who shared her passions, family members finally beginning to understand. After Emily blew out her candles, Patricia helped me serve the cake. As she handed out plates, she quietly said, "The dinosaurs really are remarkably detailed. Did you make them all by hand?" "Yes," I answered cautiously. I took some online classes in cake decorating when Emily first showed interest in science-themed parties. "I'd love to learn," she said, surprising me again. Maybe we could take a class together. I could help with her next birthday cake." Before I could respond, Emily's voice rang out across the yard. "Mommy, Grandma, come quick. We mixed the wrong chemicals and something's changing color." Patricia and I exchanged glances, then hurried toward the excited crowd of young scientists. As we approached, I heard Diane say, "Actually, Sophie, maybe we could look into those science classes after all." The afternoon sun caught the safety goggles perched on Patricia's head, and for the first time since she'd arrived, her smile reached her eyes. The weeks following Emily's birthday party brought changes I never expected. Patricia called me on a Tuesday afternoon, her voice tentative but determined. "Sarah, dear, I've been doing some thinking," she began. "I found a wonderful cake decorating class at the community center. The instructor says we can bring children on Saturday mornings. I thought perhaps Emily might enjoy learning alongside us." I nearly dropped my coffee mug. "Us?" "Well, yes," Patricia continued. "I've already enrolled myself, and I hope you might join too. We could make it a regular thing, just us girls." That's how I found myself spending Saturday mornings with my mother-in-law and daughter, learning the intricacies of fondant and buttercream. Emily proved to be a natural, her steady hands and attention to detail serving her well as she crafted increasingly complex designs. But it was Patricia who truly surprised me. "Look at this," she exclaimed one morning, proudly displaying a perfectly sculpted DNA double helix made from modeling chocolate. Emily helped me understand the structure. "Did you know each little part has a specific name?" During our breaks, Patricia began sharing stories I'd never heard before, about her own childhood dreams of becoming a marine biologist, dreams she'd abandoned because proper young ladies didn't pursue such careers in her day. "I don't want Emily to ever feel that way," she confided one day, watching our daughter carefully paint edible silver luster dust onto a fondant rocket ship. "I don't want any of my grandchildren to feel limited by someone else's expectations." The real test came a month later when Emily's science fair project made it to the regional championships. The evening before the competition, our doorbell rang. Patricia stood there, arms full of supplies. "I thought we could help Emily practice her presentation," she announced, sweeping into the house. "And I brought something special." From her bag, she pulled out a carefully wrapped package. Inside was a lab coat, child-sized but professional grade, with Dr. Emily Wilson, future scientist, embroidered in elegant script. Emily's eyes widened. "Grandma, it's perfect." She threw her arms around Patricia, who hugged her back fiercely. "There's something else," Patricia said, pulling out a faded photograph. It showed a young girl in cat-eye glasses, standing proudly next to a science fair project about ocean acidification. "That's me, at your age. I won first place, but my parents," she swallowed hard, "they said it wasn't appropriate. I never entered another science competition." Emily studied the photo carefully. "Your project looks amazing, Grandma. Will you help me practice my presentation about solar energy?" For the next 2 hours, Patricia and Emily worked together, refining explanations and practicing demonstrations. I watched from the doorway as my mother-in-law, the woman who once insisted on pink dresses and princess parties, helped her granddaughter perfect her scientific terminology. The next morning at the science fair, Emily stood confidently before the judges, her new lab coat gleaming under the fluorescent lights. Patricia sat in the front row, clutching her pearls not in disapproval but in nervous excitement. When Emily was announced as the winner, Patricia's cheer was the loudest in the room. At the celebration dinner that evening, Diane surprised us by announcing that Sophie had joined the school's science club. "She's particularly interested in marine biology," she added, glancing meaningfully at her mother. Patricia reached across the table and squeezed her daughter's hand. "Maybe we could all take a trip to the Aquarium Research Center," she suggested. "I hear they have an excellent educational program for children." Later that night, as Michael and I were cleaning up, he pulled me aside. "Mom called me today," he said. "She wanted me to tell you something, but she was afraid it might sound silly." "What is it?" She said thank you, not just for Emily's party, but for showing her it's never too late to embrace who you really are. He smiled. She signed up for an online marine biology course. The following weekend, I found Patricia and Emily in our kitchen, surrounded by baking supplies. They were attempting to create a cake shaped like a marine ecosystem, complete with coral reefs and sea creatures. "Mom," Emily called out excitedly, "Grandma's teaching me about ocean acidification while we bake. Did you know she used to study this stuff?" Patricia looked up, her face dusted with powdered sugar, wearing the lab coat we'd bought her as a joke, embroidered with Dr. Grandma, Senior Science Advisor. Her eyes met mine, and we shared a moment of understanding. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "I always thought I was protecting them. Diane, Emily, all of them, by pushing them toward what society expected. But watching Emily that day, seeing her so passionate about science, it woke something up in me, something I thought I'd lost." Emily piped up, "Can we make the coral reef change colors like in your old science project, Grandma?" "We can certainly try," Patricia laughed. "After all, the best scientists are the ones who aren't afraid to experiment." Looking at them together, 3 generations of women exploring, creating, and learning, I realized that sometimes the best family traditions are the new ones we dare to start.